before we get into my boy, yo, 50 may be one of my favorite people. I'm gonna be honest. Let me center. I gotta center my screen for a sec. But 50 may really be one of my favorite people. And it's for a bunch of different reasons. It's for a bunch of different reasons. 50, I mean, obviously he had, we're all familiar with his upbringing, whether it comes to music, to him being in the streets, everything. But the development that he's had and the information, if you really pay attention to what he puts out there, he's giving out gems. 50's he's a great businessman. Seems like he has a moral compass, honor that he lives on, and you could just see it coming out. And when you see, I don't know, people growing, we have to appreciate that. We have to appreciate that. We have to highlight that. So let me stop talking and let's get into this interview. It's titled, well, it was a clip. He did a full interview, and this guy's name is, hold on, I had the name on the. He did a full interview with this gentleman. I forget his name, but it's about an hour and 30 minutes. We're not gonna watch the full interview. It's Brian Roberts. We're not gonna watch the full interview, but we will break down this 5-minute clip. So let's get into it.
Here, you don't see how people fight to come across the border? We think we got it hard here. It's not hard here. You don't see how people fight to come across the border?
All right, done. That's it. Y'all heard what my boy said. Think about what he's saying. You think we got it hard here. We don't have it hard here. Let's be real. How many people do we come into contact with? How many times do we do it ourselves to where we act as if things are so hard here? Think about think about the last time that you heard somebody talking about the country, talking about America. What do we hear? All we hear, mainstream media trying to push that this is a terrible country. You got to be this dangerous. What did the NAACP put out? Oh, you got to watch out walking around in Florida, all these different things. And we wonder why a lot of these kids, especially the young college kids, they're at that age to where they think that it's hard for them to appreciate how good of a country this is because they've been programmed to hate it in so many different ways. But and we all know why, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let 50 say it. So let me.
We think we got it hard here. It's not hard here. You don't see how people fight to come across the border? They want to be here, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you go and look, when you get into those other territories, when their lower level, their poverty is more extreme than ours. You see what I'm saying? And we got some people that have just decided not to try. They're more comfortable in a tent with nothing on their schedule every day. That's some of them make the decision to just get the tent.
Yo, are y'all hearing what my boy is saying? And shout out to my girl. She tapped in. That's my girl. That's my homie. But yo, listen to what 50's saying. Yo, most people, think about it. Most people just give up. And it's funny, yo. This is like, y'all know I'm always gonna give y'all a football analogy. But think about it like this. I remember when everybody came in freshman year on the football team, everybody, even at a little school like William & Mary, everybody thought like, yo, I'm going to the league. Like, I'm going to the league. I was the best player on my team. I'm going to be one of the best players on this team. I'm going to be here 4 or 5 years, and then I'm going to the league. And what would happen is every day you could almost see people just giving up on that particular dream, that particular goal. And they were giving up based on what was happening in real time. What was happening? Oh, damn, well, I'm not really playing this year. So, I kind of thought that I would be playing here. Coach is hating on me. And rather than apply the pressure on themselves to continue working, even if the opportunity they believe is not presenting itself, rather than continue working, continue chopping wood, and to create an opportunity, what ends up happening? To make ourselves feel better, to make ourselves feel comfortable, we'd rather just accept the fact, force ourselves to accept like, well, you know what? I said I wanted to go to league. It ain't really that. Like, I'd rather do something else. You get what I'm saying? We will convince ourselves that we don't want that particular goal, so that way we could just give up on it. And that's what a lot of people do in life. A lot of people do that very same thing in life. So in my analogy with the football team, every day that talk would be different, where it's like, oh, damn, this one person, they not really talking that league talk like they were before. And it's not that it's a bad thing in this particular area. For one, because football trying to go to the league, I just think it's a bad business decision. But the problem is when you apply that same thinking, that thought process to other things in our lives that may be beneficial. Because now we're just creating these habits to where when something doesn't go as planned, we'd rather just say, it's not that good. And in 50's case, what he's talking about is people think about how he started off. We think we got it bad here. People would rather just say, embrace that victim mentality and just say, oh, well, I can't make it here anyway. So why would I try? I'd rather just go this route. And it seems like that's what's happening with the country. Let me make sure I'm catching up on all. All right, so let me see. I told you, Far, you was going to be in tune with this one. Far wrote, it's relative. It's hard based on what you're used to. Fights are easy to me, but hard for others. Being broke is easy for some, but hard for others. That's a good point. That's a good point. And that's basically what 50's saying. He's saying it's a choice. It's a choice. Like whether or not something is hard or easy, I mean, that's, I guess, something for you to decide. But at the end of the day, what it just comes down to is a choice. We all have the choice. You either have the choice to keep going, you have the choice to stop, you got the choice to maybe go a different route. Whatever it is, it just comes down to choices. Shout out to Lucille. Lucille in the building. All right, Lucille, good morning, high vibers. Have a blessed new week. Always appreciate that energy. So let's get into more of the video and less of me talking.
And feel no pressure to just get the 10. And feel no pressure to make it or no pressure to do anything. You know what I mean? And that's just I can't comprehend the thinking. Like, my thought process is so different from them that I can't relate to it. But it's real. Like some of them just made the decision to do that. Like, and if there's you would look and think in Africa and these other, it's different when because third world countries, bro. Like look at Brazil, it's popping. You're torn out there. You go to certain areas, you go, what the fuck is going on? Like this is a different level of poverty than what we. So,
do y'all understand? Like, yo, this is the thing. When it comes to a lot of these people, we got to understand what 50's saying. What 50's basically saying is that all these countries, we are so spoiled and privileged here because we don't have an understanding of how bad or worse things are in other countries. And when we understand that, it's going to do a few things, in my opinion. For one, it's going to put personal accountability on ourselves and responsibility, but it's also going to have us kind of wake up and snap out of that complaining victim mentality that we seem to embrace so much here in America. You won't be able to embrace that. And a lot of times when people start complaining about America, you always hear, some people saying, well, shit, go back, go somewhere else. You want to go to another country? And what is 50 talking about? He's talking about people are knocking, beating down the door to get into America, to have this opportunity. So no matter how good or bad we have it here, we have to understand that we are always one decision away from being in an extremely positive situation. And even the bad that we have here, it's nowhere close to what's happening in a lot of these other countries. And we have to understand that. We have to appreciate that. And hopefully we can use that as inspiration and motivation to continue pushing forward with whatever our goals are. If something comes up, oh well. And to be totally honest, a lot of the things that get in our way are self-inflicted. We talk about our government, there's corruption everywhere, right? But in a lot of these other places, when it comes to that type of corruption, bro, you are forced. Like there is no success. You are forced. You damn near a slave to your country. We do not have that here, even though a lot of people try to make it seem like we do. And that's why I'm glad 50's highlighting this.
What we're accustomed to, bro. And it's different when they're not, because third world countries, bro. Like, look at Brazil, it's popping. You're torn out there. You go to certain areas, you go, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is a different level of poverty than what we're accustomed to, bro. And you look at that, and when you make the connection and you're able to be all of those places, it's just amazing. Music is magic. When we talked about people not getting along and disagreements with their religious beliefs and even their political.
We may have to break down this whole interview. Just letting y'all know that. Not today, but eventually.
Beliefs and everything, they still, all those people who disagree will enjoy themselves when the right music comes on. They will take a break from that shit to have a good time right then, because it's not about their beliefs at that point. It's about just enjoying yourself. And this is why I try not to over-involve myself in politics. Well, I may have my opinion, say my opinion, but I'm not answering. Like you would not believe how many people inquire after, once they use it, because it turns into national news.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they wasn't covering when they passed the law. They're covered when I said what it's gonna do.
Right.
Y'all peeping what he's saying? So you got to speak 50 to understand, I feel like. But nah, he's saying it directly. But what I heard was that a lot of people come to, people that have influence, especially politicians, they're always going to come to you and want you to push whatever particular agenda that they have, because you have certain influence over people and people know that. So they're always going to ask you, you always have an opportunity, say, if you want to get into politics, if you want to have more of these political conversations. He tends to stay out of it for a lot of the reasons that he just mentioned it. He's going to say his point, but then not get too, involved. And I think that's important we have to make sure that we're speaking up and letting the rest of, whoever we're influencing, letting them know exactly how we feel on certain situations. Because look at the alternative. If people like 50 don't speak up, if all these influential people don't speak up, you know who's gonna have the power and influence? It's gonna be the media. The media, their entire, let's put it, we are at war, and a lot of times with this media and the indoctrination that they're putting on us. So if we're not fighting against it, then we're pretty much just allowing it to destroy us. We're allowing it to manipulate us, allowing it to shape our frame of reference in any area. How we see this is shaped by the media, but we'll think that it's shaped by our own thoughts and beliefs, and it's not. So it's important to speak on it. What the other important side of it, what I'm hearing from 50 is basically like, it's going to be there, but it's never going to be the determining factor in whether or not I'm successful. It doesn't matter. And obviously that relates to even the topic that we're going to, finish up with today, as far as with the Republican debates. No matter who wins, let's be clear. We have to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position to be successful regardless. So that's what I'm hearing as I listen to 50.
You know what I mean? And it's because they go, from my perspective, they're going, why he said that? Like, what? I know what's there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to turn into things like we're going to be getting everything from Amazon, your toothpaste and everything else. Because then if they're making it where the smaller theft is not even a penalty for it,
Right.
the person that's getting high would just be standing in front of the store going, yo, give me the $15. I'll go get everything you want. Tell me what you want. And just walk in the store. All this stuff is free. And you give them $15 and you give $30 worth of shit. And you just go home. Why would that not happen? Why would that not happen?
Yo, I'm not even sure if I peeped that part.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if you these laws, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yo, hold up. Am I tripping? Yo, what 50's talking about is they changed the law to where if you steal underneath a certain amount of money, it's only like a slap on the wrist, or they can't even stop you from leaving the store. Store employees, as long as you're stealing underneath a certain amount of value based on the products that you're stealing, as long as it's under a certain value, they are instructed to not stop you. Which is why you see a bunch of these videos with these young kids going into these stores and they're pretty much walking out like it's nothing. They're like, yo, it's basically a green light to steal. Why they implemented these laws, I don't know, or why they changed them, I don't know. But listen to what 50's saying. He's like, yo, somebody will be at the front and they'll give them $15. And he's like, everything's free because I could just go in and take it. And now you get $30 worth of stuff like this.
Did you? Why would that not happen? Why would that not happen, bro? You see what I'm saying? Like if you these laws, it just doesn't make sense to me that you.
So that's
like,
happening in New York too, I think.
When
where
you grow up, the circumstances I grew up under make me have a compass or a way to feel out what would happen under the scenario. Like, and I look and go, nah, and they're gonna do that until they regress and becomes easier to do something that is not within the law until you see them do more extreme things. This is why you see, even in the towns that they tried it in early on, a spike in violent crimes and everything. But I don't have political aspirations. I don't
So
really have the
no.
conversation. I'm just like,
Yo, don't let 50 fool y'all. His political aspirations are just different. His political aspirations are just not on the big stage, to stand up and say, hey, I'm a politician. His political aspirations are exactly what he's doing right now. Because regardless of what, he knows he's playing the political game right now. He's not, and I don't mean by playing the political game in a bad way, but he's influencing politically right now. Let me say that. Everything that he just said, I don't know if y'all picked up on it. He said let me give y'all the translation. These dumb laws that a lot of these liberals put in place, which are giving people the green light to just steal at will. He's looking at it from his point of view, where it's like, yo, obviously that's what's going to happen. And it doesn't make any sense. You see the crime rate goes up. There's a spike in that. All these laws that they're implementing, I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess, I mean, you're trying to let people off on something, but it's causing more crime. Like, why would you even think that this is something that would work? And that's what he's saying.
what happened under the scenario? Like, and I look and go, nah, and they're gonna do that until they regress and becomes easier to do something that is not within the law until you see them do more extreme things. This is why you see, even in the towns that they tried it in early on, a spike in violent crimes and everything. But I don't have political aspirations. I don't really have the conversation.
No.
I'm just like,
Gonna be plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
I think the music plays a big part, but I think it's also just your perspective, because what's really interesting is you're a trusted source because people know that you
The experience, yeah.
Right. The experience is there.
From it. So you look at,
because people don't even know what is true anymore, it seems, in a lot of ways. But everyone knows what's everyone knows 50's 50, and that's that's
and
it.
you going, if there's I wouldn't want it to be any other way either, because it's the way that, look, even the hip hop music, our culture loves things that are damaged, right? You'll see things re-enter or reconnect to the music. And they say if the person's been battered or bumped around through the experience, it becomes more exciting to see them sound so beautiful. It sounds perfect on the song when it's a hit song. And
hold on one second. It's for whatever reason, it's out of, hold on. Just want to make sure y'all hearing everything correctly.
those things that are damaged, right? You'll see things re-enter or reconnect to the music. And they say if the person's been battered or bumped around through the experience, it becomes more exciting to see them sound so beautiful. It sounds perfect on the song when it's a hit song. And when they connect, and that all of the damage is there. it's exciting to watch, bro. Like it's exciting to watch. And then it's very rare that you see artists that connect that don't have a backdrop. Where's the really wealthy kids creating hip hop music that are in the number one or in the higher end of the chart? That doesn't happen. I have to work on that part right there, right? Like what the,
All right, so we're gonna appreciate 50. We're gonna get to the next video, but everything that he's saying, I'm telling y'all, all I hear is, stop being a victim, stop accepting what society tells us, and we got to get back to just making sense with a lot of these laws that they're implementing. We think that you can get off on this, but in all actuality, it's bringing a lot of crime to these communities. So it's just creating more harm than anything else. What did Farr write? Farr wrote, "Can it be because if you let people run amok, you can force them to run to you for help, which will give you more power and control over them?" I think so, because even as he was speaking, I have to constantly. I was wondering, why would these, what's the benefit? All political decisions are obviously made to get some type of benefit for whatever agenda that particular side is pushing. So if you have liberals that are encouraging these laws, you have to wonder why. I don't know. Is it something where they can then go on and say, "Hey, we've had less crime in our areas because you're letting people off"? Was it something that just backfired on them to where they were thinking like, "All right, we can just report lower numbers and robbery and all these other things"? I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Like some of this type of stuff happens and it just doesn't make sense. Or I guess the thought has to come up, where are you just trying to sabotage something? It really makes that little sense to where we're sitting here wondering like, damn, like how does this even benefit them? Maybe it was just a bad decision on their part. So I can't say. Shiro, population control. That's an interesting topic. That's an interesting topic. And it's funny. I was having a conversation about Bill Gates the other day. And that's something that he always would bring up. I remember that he was making mistakes where they were talking about COVID or something like that. And he kept talking about like population control or something was happening. But I don't know what's going on. Do they want more crime? Do they want people killed at this rate? You really just got to sit back and wonder, like, I guess maybe we can't put all of our thoughts on why something is happening and just more so on they're doing dumb stuff over there. Let's just make sure that we're grounded in our foundational values, principles. So there, at least we'll have a compass to know where we need to go, regardless of the stuff that they got going on. So it doesn't make much sense. I'll be totally honest. It doesn't make much sense.